noting that Tammy's entry in your program today was rather sparse. Fill in the details. And, I'm going to read. That's to keep me from falling temptation of the many anecdotes that are there to be had in the 30 years of working with Tammy. So I'll spare you those. But now, Tammy claims to be born with the word naturalist written across her forehead, heralding the deep bonds with nature to be set early in life, her intense interest nurtured by her parents and siblings. She was a prized student of Bob McCullough, West Geauga High School science teacher, visionary Geauga Park District Park Board member, commissioner for many years, and as I recall, an inaugural recipient of this award. Well, he was a very, very influential mentor to Tammy. Tammy graduated from Northern Ohio University with a degree in biology, and her college career included an internship with the Ohio Division of Wildlife at McGee Marsh, is that right? Yes. That included becoming a bird bander. Tammy was hired as a naturalist with Geauga Park District in 1989. It was soon apparent that Tammy was blessed with this gift for serendipity, her unceasing, uncanny encounters with wildlife of all kinds. Perhaps it was perpetual luck, being in the right place at the right time, or having keen senses that keeps her dialed into nature, leading to so many amazing encounters and adventures with wildlife. I mean, who else could find and photograph a marbled salamander in Big Creek Park, the only one that I know was ever found there. So, early on in her tenure with Geauga Park District, Tammy demonstrated exceptional presentation skills as a nature interpreter, effectively engaging and enthralling audiences. Tammy's programming initiatives provide the public with never-to-be-forgotten hands-on experiences with wildlife that no doubt served as hugely influential experiences for youth and adults rediscovering their inborn sense of wonder. Highlights of Tammy's programming as a Geauga Park District naturalist capitalized on the seasonal natural phenomenon. Examples would be Bird in Hand, using her banding skills, providing programs with live birds, banding them for science, held audiences of all ages absolutely spellbound. The amphibian hotline, or whatever we called it, taking people out on short notice on those special warm, rainy, early spring nights to witness salamander migration and breeding activity as part of the amphibians' annual conjugal conclave, with its deafening chorus of spring peepers and wood frogs as large spotted and Jefferson salamanders marched into vernal pools. The 17-year cicada emergences were, Tammy made those into memorable programs at Big Creek Park in 1999 and 2016. Did I get those years right? It's all a blur after a while. Oh, those bird tornado programs, the spectacles when hundreds of chimney swifts that swirled and plummeted into the chimney of the former Berkshire High School, using it as their migratory motel on their way to the Amazon. Tammy administered the box stock nest box program for years, where park volunteers made house calls on nesting bluebirds and tree swallows. She also conducted bluebird box building workshops promoting bluebird conservation by expanding the nest box husbandry beyond the parks and onto private property. And Tammy's caterpillar extravaganzas will pass into legend. Seriously, absolutely amazing arrays of moth caterpillars, all displayed cageless, munching away on bouquets of tree and shrub foliage appropriate to their individual appetites. Her propagation hobby also underscored the conservation issues that insects face. Trail cam treasures, holy smokes. Trail cam compilations of wild animals made for amazing video displays and programs left audiences in awe. Riveting video productions featuring candid, unseen activity of coyotes, otters, mink, deer, vultures, fox, raccoons, sandhill cranes, and so on. Well, in time, Tammy moved over to the Geauga Park District's Natural Resources Department with a focus on research, and this included breeding bird surveys and monitoring salamander breeding. in Big Creek Park, Virginia, and soar rail trapping and banding as an extension of Ohio Division of Wildlife Study, and using radio telemetry to study a remnant spotted turtle population. Despite most of her time spent in the field, calls for her writing and presentation skills were inescapable. Tammy's legacy includes monarch butterfly racing for the Great Geauga County Fair, which became such a popular attraction at the natural resources area at the fair that no matter what the theme was for the park district, what they chose to highlight, whether it was the Maple Highlands Trail one year or Observatory Park, didn't matter. We always had to have feature the monarchs there. The butterfly display was where the fairgoers just marveled at the monarchs emerging from their chrysalises, and over the years, we also were able to provide, tag the monarchs for science again to study their amazing, phenomenal transcontinental migration to Mexico. And over the years, several park-banded monarchs have been recovered in Mexico. Tammy also collaborated with the horticultural department at Kent State University's Geauga branch to propagate milkweed starts for distribution to people to aid monarchs by providing their essential caterpillar food. Now, after retiring, it took the whole naturals department to collect monarch eggs and raise caterpillars for the fair. Now, in this past year, and this was a brilliant move on John Kolar, the chief naturalist part, has actually involved the public in gathering the eggs. Now, Tammy, now we have to have armies of people to do this, what Tammy did. Because you need a really trained eye, which Tammy had, for with tiny little eggs on the underside of milkweed leaves that are no bigger than the tip of a ballpoint pen. So in retirement, while still at Geauga Park District, Tammy initiated a Kestrel Nest Box program, which is mentioned in your program there, in the Middlefield area, succeeding with making inroads into the Amish community that Geauga Park District naturalists tried for years without a whole lot of success. Not to mention giving a needed boost to Ohio's smallest falcon, a bird in decline in Ohio and beyond. She continues breeding and feeding caterpillars of dozens of moss species as they progressed into cocoons and emerging as spectacular adults. She's a frequent contributor of amazing photographs and nature work to the Geauga County Wildlife Facebook page. And that's where her nature education efforts, as mine, continue into retirement. But most lately, and this, I'm just so tickled with this, that Tammy landed a gig producing nature articles for the Farm Dairy magazine, which is a venerable, ever-popular agricultural publication, providing Tammy with an expansive audience for exceptionally engaging writing and photography. So, while Tammy may have been born with naturalist written across her forehead, that birthmark has faded with age. However, ever apropos, it was replaced with a tattoo. But she won't say where.
Thank you, Dan. You may need to sit in the other room. I want to also point out that Tammy is here with her mother, Lois Locker, and other relatives, but I just thought it was just remarkable that you're able to bring your mom here today, and so we'll give you another round of applause. Our next team of heroes is Todd and Mary Ray. They will be introduced by Irene McMullen, trustee Munson Township. Good afternoon. I'm Irene McMullen, and I've known Todd since my days of serving on the Board of Zoning Appeals for the township, and served with Todd both as a trustee and a fiscal officer, well, he's the fiscal officer now for the township. What first strikes me about Todd and Mary is their compatibility. and their seeming inability to say no to taking on any complicated but needed endeavor. Everyone in the township is hoping those qualities will endure forever. Mary and Todd canoe together in one canoe. Think of canoeing. Mary's at the bow and sets the pace, and you can't make progress if you set a pace which won't work for the other person. Todd has to keep up, but crucially is also the person who charts and monitors the course. You have to be quite like-minded and